listening to the Construction Big Breakfast, where we give you a hearty serving of insider tips and business strategies to help fuel your day so you can thrive in the construction industry. Now, here's your host, Tip Top Tim Fitch.
And welcome to the latest edition of the Invennt podcast, the Construction Big Breakfast, with me, Tip Top Tim Fitch. And today, two new faces. On my right, Sara Moatti, who is one of our consultants here at Invennt. And on my left, I've got Alex Tosetti.
Hello.
Who is an all-round good chap and guru on smart cities. So today we're going to be talking about smart cities, which is not something I'm got very much expertise in at all, but that's why I brought Sara in, who's it's one of her hot subjects. But what we always do, and if you watched any of our episodes, you probably have a clue as to what happens next, because there is a theme to these podcasts. I'm going to ask you, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had 2 rounds of toast, orange juice and Weetabix, followed by a cup of tea.
There we are, very traditional British breakfast. A little bit on the light side, low on protein.
Yes, I am looking after my health in this low carbon, healthy world that we now have to live in. And
Sara, come on, spill the beans. What did you have?
I had a very traditional Lebanese yogurt spread, which we call labneh.
Labneh, yeah.
On toast.
Oh, lovely.
With olive oil, so a bit of Mediterranean breakfast. And
Very
of
good.
course, a lot of coffee.
Because labneh is one of the great finds for me. Because
Nice.
we have a number, and I've had plenty of people in the past from the Middle East, so we've got into the whole bread and labneh culture of the Middle East, which is really tremendous.
Great. Yeah.
But of course, what I had, I had, what did I have today? I was out with somebody, I had kedgeree. Kedgeree, which is a very, very nice breakfast. You familiar with kedgeree?
I didn't try it, but
You know what it is? It's sort of curry rice with
I think it's a bit heavy for me.
It's got haddock in it,
Yep.
Smoked haddock,
Yeah.
and you get a poached egg.
So I have that every morning when I go to Glastonbury, at Glastonbury.
Oh, really?
The best kedgeree in the UK is the Glastonbury kedgeree.
Wow.
Then you follow it on with a pint.
Okay, well, there's a breakfast tip. So, really, I'm going to throw it open now for Sara and Alex to have a discussion with you around smart cities. 'Cause I know we met a few weeks ago, but Sara really was very excited when we said you were coming in, because that's her subject. So,
Great.
So I'm interested because I'm pursuing a master's in smart cities and urban analytics at the Bartlett in UCL, and you have such a wide experience in this field. I've known from them. So I just wanted to share your thoughts and views, starting maybe from a very general thought about the evolution of smart cities that started maybe as private initiatives in the private sector, and then it evolved to government, public movement. And nowadays, the interesting thing is it became a community-driven approach that everyone is concerned about, from the grassroots up to the top. And the thing that is encouraging civic innovation, equity, collaboration between everyone, and maybe creating new government models. So having your experience, I wanted to see what's your thought about our beloved London, and especially with the integration of smart cities within the policies, with the Mayor of London launching Smarter London Together plan, which aims to transform London into the smartest city in the world. So what do you think about it? If you have any assessment about the strategy that are following about this particular bit?
Wow, what a brilliant first question. Well, first, congratulations on doing the Bartlett MSc course, which is probably one of the best. And I myself was part of the Bartlett International Summer School program about 15 years ago. And that's actually when I first started getting interested in smart cities. We used to go to different cities, Moscow, Brasilia, Barcelona, and talk about urban regeneration. This is 15 years ago. And at that point, the MSc course, we're talking about smart in those days. So it's been going for some time, the smart conversation. So congratulations and good luck on that course. So London, what a great city to start with. We live and work in London, and I think without doubt it is one of the best and smartest cities in the world. It's very progressive. There's a lot of things that have taken place here in a city of 8-9 million people. Some would feel it's a little bit chaotic, but I mean, where there's chaos, there's some great innovations and great technologies and great behaviour changes that can be implemented across the whole of society. So London is a great starting point, and probably the first most fundamental change in terms of smart in London was the introduction of the Oyster card,
Yes.
which is now 10 years old, and other cities have followed that concept of being able to get used to travelling, multimodal use card, and to help smooth a more frictionless way of travel. So that, I would have said, put London way up on the smart city map some 10 years ago. There's an awful lot of things now being done.
That's Presto Car for Toronto.
There we go. So
They've adopted it.
Other cities like Toronto are following.
Yeah.
I've got obviously Singapore was doing some great stuff as well. There's a lot of city-to-city learning going on. But the other thing, I think, Boris, when he was mayor, was really pushing development hard, infrastructure hard. The current mayor is pushing that as well, and the current smart city plan for London is very innovative, very forward-thinking. Digital London as well is another really strong piece of policy. So in terms of the GLA, I think they're really setting a good scene for innovation. And let's just be frank, I think smart cities is all about innovation and doing things better and improving the experience for users, whether you live here or visit here or work here.
And I think especially the challenge with London is that it's a very old city, so the integration of smart systems is very challenging instead of, for example, just starting from scratch and having the infrastructure ready for all the requirements that all the smart systems will need. And what about maybe global model? That's, for example, Barcelona, as you mentioned, is one of the smartest cities in Europe, as well Amsterdam, that we're using data analysis and for a very long time to help drive their economy and maybe incubate entrepreneurships, which that's why they're very successful in this field. As well, you have India now with the 100 Smart Cities program that are working on it, and many more. Do you think maybe like there's a successful model that everyone should follow, or it's like an interconnected process of learning, especially with technology changing very rapidly, like you cannot cope with it? Do you have any idea of a successful application, maybe all around the world? Because you were mentioning that you traveled a lot and you experienced a lot in this field as well.
Yeah, interesting question. I think there's no one overall smart city. It's more about smart projects and smart technologies being implemented within cities. I don't think. I mean, if there was, if I said what is the smartest city that I've been to, probably Malmö or Stockholm in Sweden, very well managed in a very holistic style, a lot of integrations and a lot of issues being covered. So probably the smartest city, but there are other cities. I was asked one day, "What's your dumbest city?" If you have your smartest city, a little bit unfortunate, but cities like Detroit, which are now up and coming again after hugely failing in terms of economics and the loss of the automobile industry and industry in Detroit generally. The leadership of that city let the city die, and that to me wasn't very smart in terms of the economic regeneration, rejuvenation and rebranding of the city. Now Detroit is coming back again. So just to give you so you understand where I think the best cities are, my definition of a smart city is 5 words, And there are so many definitions around, and I was asked one day, well, what is it in 5 words? And mine is improved citizen-centric urban environment, and a big emphasis on improved. Okay, so we can always improve. London can improve, Barcelona can improve, Amsterdam can improve. And it's all about improving that citizen experience in day-to-day life. Barcelona is very good, and it's got some excellent smart applications, doing a lot on the digital front, doing a lot out of the local university, partnership with the city council. Amsterdam as well is doing some really great stuff with its mobility, as is Copenhagen. Every city has a little bit of really good things going on. And the same can be said in UK cities as well. So Bristol is doing some really good stuff. Glasgow is doing some good stuff. All slightly different. And each of these cities can learn off each other. And that's where the whole use case scenario, I think, is so important. So when you build up your portfolio of understanding about what is a smart city, look at the use cases, whether they are projects, individual buildings, or intervention areas, such as campus sites or estates, such as King's Cross here, Wembley, regeneration around Wembley, or municipality-wide, so the Old Oak Common master plan, very large intervention areas, or the city as a whole. So you can enter this discussion at building level, municipality level, campus level, or city scale level.
And I think the good thing is that the need for smart city now is imposing or maybe exposing new skills to everyone. For example, we have someone that is developing apps, maybe programming languages. Even if you're not a data scientist, for example, I have an architectural background. I have nothing to do with data analysis. Even Shubham, he had a master's in construction.
Yes.
And actually now in Invennt we're using this as well. Those skill sets, if you wanna say. And this is very interesting that everyone now is concerned about this. But what about the challenges that is facing data analysis, especially with a lot of articles, maybe last week, I'm not sure if you heard of it, one of the biggest breach of government data concerning educational data. Children, maybe more than 28 million children were exposed, names, addresses, ages, for gambling companies. So, I mean, this was a very bad situation for in terms of security and cyber security. What do you think will be the next challenge concerning data and ethics, for example?
Yeah, interesting. Just back to your first comment about the role of professionals in smart cities. I think you're right. It's something in it for everybody. So all disciplines, whether you're an architect, engineer, quantity surveyor, project manager, economist, you all have a part in the smart city program, and that's why it's such an interesting subject. And it's mashing together all those good ideas and different disciplines, and everybody comes from it from a slightly different angle, but everybody can contribute to it as a discipline. Data, yes, data, interesting. The new oil.
Hot topic.
Very hot topic. It's no doubt about it. It's going to increase. We are in an absolute digital age. We need to keep up with it, and this is actually one of my reasons for setting off on the smart city routes about 6 years ago, was because I felt the technology world was growing so fast. It was overtaking our world of construction and design. And unless our industry keeps up with it and is more resilient and getting up with the digital world, we're going to get left behind as an industry. So, and also we're designing projects, we're master planning projects, which take some 10 to 15 years to incubate, to be occupied, to be realised. And life over 10 to 15 years in technology world is far too long.
Yeah,
so things will change in that period. So we as designers need to ensure how we incorporate future flexibility and resilience of technology into our master plans from day one, and how that can transition to year 10, 15 when the sites are fully occupied. So that's how can technology change behaviour, and how does citizen behaviour influence how we design. So you've got to look at it both ways. In terms of data, yes, absolutely. I think there is an older generation that are finding it quite difficult to cope with. I think there's a younger generation that are brought up with it, and it's normal everyday life, so not a problem. There is a lot of debate about data security. The police force are now implementing face recognition cameras. Google Sidewalk Labs in Toronto have had problems with their urban regeneration project in Toronto Waterside, talking about data, and there's a little bit of paranoia with the local community and the city council about what they will do with that data in terms of monitoring people. So there needs to be some careful laws and policies around data, and as long as you're not naming individuals, I don't see it as a problem. I see data analytics as a very useful way of helping improve. Millions and millions of bits of data actually is very helpful.
Can I ask a question? I've got a couple listening to this, fascinating. Is the smart city, is it like a top-down agenda in your view? Is it the mayors of the world or of a particular city who say, well, we're going to have this as a strategic aim and a theme to any future development, and therefore write it into the local codes and what have you? Or is it the other way around, more bottom up, where it's entrepreneurial developers who are saying, well, if we can get this going, we're going to have a more resilient, a better building. It's going to be more. It's more what our tenants are likely to want, or the users of this space. Where do you see the drivers for it?
So I think it's both. I think of course it starts with leadership at the top. So the mayors, the presidents, prime ministers of countries, the mayors of cities have got to drive this. And I think it's as much about leadership in making your city frictionless for its users, attractive for visitors, differentiator from other cities. So implementing technologies and innovation. If this is driven by the city mayors, top down, I think all there is the C40 mayors forum, where global mayors get together and talk about smart cities, but it's also linked to the whole climate crisis, climate agenda, decarbonisation of your city, whether that's through individual citizens or companies or project organisations. The whole smart city ethos is generally, or should be, underpinned by climate change and decarbonisation. This is why smart transport, smart energy goes to the heart of a lot of this city-wide agenda and development. Bottom up, I think it is young people in a digital age and entrepreneurship driving a lot of disruptive ideas, technologies. It's great. It's upward pushing. It's what the citizens expect. And I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs and startups and small startups that are driving a lot of really interesting disruptive technology into our industry that is making us think and making governors of cities change policy to suit. So it's both.
See, that's interesting because I mean, it always. I mean, in construction, there's so much noise about we want top down. You know, it's somebody else's problems that are going to solve our problems for us. But in this particular thing, you think there's some policy type stuff and that's some civic leadership. But you see the entrepreneurs, the asset owners who are picking up the baton straight away and going with it.
Yeah, and the in between bit, the construction bit, is very interesting because, as you know, our industry needs to be far more efficient, keep quality high, safety high, and be competitive, and that's driving the whole off-site manufacturing, product development, modular. How can we build quicker, slightly cheaper, still safely? That's driving the whole modular effort. I think in design, BIM has been around a long time and has actually been really, really slow in our industry to be completely taken up by everybody in a consistent manner. I think that's been a struggle in our construction industry, and it needs a lot more attention. I think our industry needs to radically move into a digital twin environment. So just like the aviation sector and the automobile sector have done in their industry, where you are designing a building from the outset as a digital twin. So when it comes to construction, it's a lot more efficient. When it comes to soft landings and handover to the client, it is a ready-made building or piece of infrastructure that can be adapted and managed as an asset class. So smart cities is very much about running assets as much as it is about the building process.
How does that tie in with the stuff that you've been learning?
I think this is more practical point of view, because more than the theoretical one, especially when you're facing problems within the built environment that is already there. Definitely it's different than the books and than the theories that everyone's talking about. With all the challenges of, as you mentioned, the implementation of those systems within the existing infrastructure, which I personally think is in case of London, is a very successful model. Being able, for example, to introduce the Oyster card a long time ago, when having cities until now, they don't have that, for example. They don't have the contactless way of payment in order to move, which is as well affecting mobility topics that are now trendy as well, and of course the inclusion that they are trying to promote with all the cities now, in terms of special needy people and maybe everyone, not only this case. So yeah, I think it's a whole new point of view for me.
And if you can relate it to practical situations, it really helps.
Yeah.
And clients and customers and citizens then understand what you're talking about. And for example, we might have the world's oldest underground system with an Oyster card, a very helpful Oyster card system, but we still don't have Wi-Fi on our underground, which is very frustrating.
They're working on it.
They're working on it. Yeah, every other city seems to have Wi-Fi on their tubes and metros. So we can still learn.
Let's hope.
We can still learn, and there's an awful lot to do. And your point about societal behaviour in an amazing city that we are in is so important as well. So a lot of this is about societal behaviour and influencing that, so that the citizen has a better quality, better experience. So yeah, a lot of psychology and socioeconomics is the kind of bedrock of smart cities.
Just one sort of last point or two, because obviously we've had quite an very interesting debate from my point of view. Is there I mean, the whole point of cities, I thought, is that people are sort of coming together and mixing. That's how they were invented, wasn't it? You know, but is there a chance that the technology will mean that you don't have to be in the city? You can just do it on your phone, and is it one of those things? Well, how's that going to play out?
Interesting. Well, teleworking came about 20 years ago, didn't it? It was the 30 years ago, the onset of the internet. And 20 years ago, people started to work from home because of that internet use. It's an interesting point because is the world of technology going to change the way we work? Yes. And the way we travel? Yes. And the way we spend our leisure time? Yes. Look at the high street. Shopping has radically changed as a result of technology integration in a world of Amazon and Uber and Deliveroo. We've changed the way we live. So, and I think until you actually say that, and you don't really realise how you've changed as an individual because you've just done it. So technology will influence the way we work and live and play. I think this whole 5G revolution is going to be quite interesting as well, particularly for rural communities. So if the rural communities are all wired up properly and have the same bandwidth and speed of communication that we enjoy in cities, then why commute into a city? So lots of debate about where do you then put your housing. So again, technology is starting to influence policy. Housing. Do you put all your housing in the Oxford Cambridge corridor, or do you put your housing in infill sites, on brownfield sites in the city centre, or both?
Is there a theoretical? What's the academic view of this? Or they've not got a view at the moment?
I think decentralization is something theory. Go for it because it gives quality for, as you mentioned, maybe people that doesn't have the ability to access large cities, for example, London or maybe other cities. But at the same time, it will change the behavior of the resident within the city. And I think we need more time, as Alex mentioned, because we are living in it. Maybe we're not seeing it, we're noticing it after 10 or 15 years. We notice the change that happened in the last period. But it's something controversial, I think, because you cannot say that this is something bad that will not benefit maybe construction industry or other sectors, but at the same time it will benefit a lot of people. So I think it's something controversial that we need to study more, or maybe just wait and see.
Well, thank you for that, Sara. On that note, we're going to have to pull this discussion to a close. It's been fascinating. We've had two very contrasting views. We've got the current up-to-date academic, and we've got the not been there, done it all, but practitioner who's been all over the world looking at these things, from Alex. So that Sara and Alex's view has been fascinating. I've certainly learned something, and I hope those that have tuned in have as well. So thanks to Sara and our guest Alex.
Thank you.
And see you on the next podcast.
Invennt has a 100% success rate with R&D tax credits, bringing in over £77 million in qualified costs for businesses just like you. We offer a complimentary, confidential review of your business to see where you're leaving money on the table. Contact us at www.invennt.com to book a consultation today. Thanks for joining us this week on the Construction Big Breakfast. Make sure to visit our website, www.inventt.com, where you can subscribe to the Construction Big Breakfast on all platforms so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a positive rating. Or if you'd simply share it with a friend, that would help us out too. Be sure to tune in for our next episode.